throughout the film, and the film actually starts close to 1963. King gives his famous "I Have a Dream" speech, and many people have locked his legacy into just that moment in time and reduced it to be about Black folks and white folks holding hands and kind of having this utopian vision of society of us all just getting along better.
Yeah.
And I love what you did here with this film, with not only expanding his personal legacy and the complexities of him as a person, but also his vision for a future beyond civil rights. You talk a lot in the film about this radical man who is rising to the point that he becomes a threat to the FBI itself. And in your own words, what was most threatening about Dr. King to the establishment? And why would the FBI take such a profound interest in him as a person?
You know, what people forget, because now that we have all these schools and streets and boulevards and buildings named after Dr. King, and we have the national holiday on King's birthday, people forget that, as you see in the film, in the 60s, he wasn't so beloved. When they took that poll after Hoover had called King the most notorious liar in the country, 50% of the American people from that particular poll, really supported J. Edgar Hoover, and only like 15, 16%, supported Dr. King. So he wasn't sort of this beloved, beloved icon at that point. And the other thing that's interesting too, when you watch those man on the streets interviews with those, specifically those two white people, the white gentleman who says, Hoover says King is terrible, but he's 10 times worse. And the white woman who says on the street, I don't like him because he's uppity. But the other piece that's from the archival that's really telling is when King's on that talk show and the white female journalist asked Dr. King, don't you feel that you're causing all these riots in the streets? Don't you feel things are moving too fast? And Anthony, when I hear those kind of lines, I think this sounds like 2020. It sounds like someone saying those protesters in the streets are having the left come out, Antifa, which people can equate with communism. Be careful that these people are going to come into your suburbs and ruin your community. I mean, it's amazing how the history doesn't seem to change. America, the great democracy, still talking this kind of craziness. So, it's just fascinating to look at that and see, we always keep thinking we have a long way to go. And I always keep thinking, man, the road is sure long in terms of having to make change. It's in some ways, Anthony, it's frightening. For you, a young man, to be in America at this time, and for me to be a young teenager back in then thinking, wow, it was rough. And you're growing up now saying, wow, it is rough.
So much of the same struggle, and especially with the espionage and surveillance of the movement itself. I know doing activism, Ferguson, Baltimore, we talked a lot about infiltration in the movement, and so much of what King went through has kind of equipped this generation for tactics to combat that too.
And the thing to remember is that the fear that Hoover had about King was all of a sudden he was a Black man with a group of supporters basically saying, we want equal rights, and for people like Hoover and lots of white people, even today, it's like, well, why can't you be happy being in the back of the bus? Why can't you be happy being in a segregated restaurant, a segregated subway, or segregated bus? Why you got to make such a fuss? I mean, whoa, aren't we all supposed to be equal?
Incredible.
Isn't that what they keep, as you and I grow up, man, isn't that what they keep pounding into our head? Oh, America is a great place, it's democracy, everybody's equal. Well, when you dig into it, we realize what the truth is.